This is 1,496 days since Richard was premeditatedly murdered on Fort Bliss after undergoing severe continuous retaliation um, to discredit him unjustly, in order to discredit him, in order to intimidate him, in order to destroy him, so that what he was reporting, the criminal trafficking and the fraud and more, um, couldn't be used or wouldn't be counted as reliable, since he was a whistleblower and he was reporting to the IG, to the FBI Houston, to the CID, to the Child Protective Services, and also to Washington, D.C. And, it's interesting because going back and looking at the connections of those that were very interested in this case that were not like family members or even part of, living in El Paso, going back and looking at those individuals, there's a lot of connections. And um, I will say that General Michael Garrett was doing more than just giving us his thoughts and prayers. So, yeah, there was more going on. And, the agencies, the institutions were absolutely weaponized against us, against Richard first and foremost, because he was reporting and they were retaliating against him. And as a whistleblower, he had the right to be protected. And they absolutely ignored that, failed, didn't pay attention, just went all out and violated their duty to protect him. And then the system was absolutely unjustly weaponized against him. And we have spent 4 years and presenting the evidence over and over again, what we have discovered. And the tide has absolutely changed from the beginning. What we are hearing is, let me make sure I'm on. Sure everybody can hear me. What we are hearing from law enforcement. Oh, thank you so much, Anicia, for coming on, for your prayers and your love. And thank you, Danielle, for coming on with your prayers. Justice, stars. Richard is sparkling clean. He's a stellar soldier. Um, and the stars in their course fought against Sisera. And that's what we're seeing right now. The whole narrative, the whole public opinion, and also within the law enforcement system has now changed. And we can tell you tonight, very good news, that the law enforcement community in El Paso has confirmed that they are while they are in complaint mode, they are absolutely stand by the fact of this, the fact that Bill Hicks is a usurper, not only a usurper, okay, that the district attorney's office there is totally botched. That they can't even bring cases in, because they know that if Bill Hicks goes out, please God, let it happen, in handcuffs, that those cases then will be botched, and that's what they don't want. um, because they absolutely, what we um, were, word coming out to us, is that they are absolutely confirming that they understand in a community that he is a usurper. And not only that, he schemed with Justin Underwood. He schemed, Bill Hicks schemed with Justin Underwood. Bill Hicks schemed with John Briggs. Bill Hicks schemed with Bob Moore. It's in the open records. And they schemed to remove a duly elected official, a duly elected district attorney, Yvonne Rosales. Now, the implications of that coming out, and I think the reason why they understand it now is because they saw what happened lately at a national, right, at a national level, where, the will of the people, the votes of the people, do not matter to these criminals. They will scheme to remove an elected official. Um, and in this case, Yvonne Rosales, the district attorney. And so Bill Hicks absolutely needs to be arrested in handcuffs, and so does Justin Underwood, and so does um, John Briggs, and so does Bob Moore. And so we have also received confirmation that Bob Moore is no longer the editor for El Paso Matters. He's lost his position in that respect. And so, and it seems like Justin Underwood is, in quiet mode, in hiding mode. And John Briggs, of course, is still trying to scheme. He's trying to scheme. And who's he trying to scheme? Is he trying to scheme with Bob Moore still? Is he trying to scheme with Justin Underwood still? Is he trying to scheme with Bill Hicks? Because the word that we have gotten is that John Briggs was like you know uh, the little voice in the ear of Bill Hicks, right? He was the one telling Bill Hicks what to do. And you know so it with the DA's office being undergoing an earthquake right now. Okay, it's undergoing rumbles, a lot of rumbles. Um, and that those are warnings. Those are warnings to all the assistant district attorneys that are in that office still, because so many have left, right? So many have left. It's probably way over 30 now that have left. Um, and nobody in their right mind would want to go into that office at this time. And the rumblings that are absolutely being heard by the law enforcement. So, uh, and even out of the courthouse, law enforcement, um, there's rumblings, and these are warnings to the assistant district attorneys, other than, I mean, of course, John Briggs, but um, to come clean, come clean. The charges are very serious because Bill Hicks um, usurped, he tampered with government records, or schemed to tamper with government records, and he schemed to unjustly remove a duly elected district attorney, Yvonne Rosales. So this is really, really big news in Richard's case. What does it mean? How can we understand what's going on? And I, was trying to explain to my mother, and I said, look, when you would understand the Jack the Ripper case, right? Jack the Ripper in London. And Jack the Ripper committed murdered, more than that, but murdered. Let's say we'll just pick two names, Martha and Mary, right? And all of a sudden, in Martha's case, it cracked open and they figured out who did it and they went and arrested Jack the Ripper, right? That means that Mary's case now has gotten justice. You see, now so even though they're two separate, they're really the same perpetrators because Richard's case came first. He was reporting on the criminal trafficking and the fraud. These people that came forward to misdirect Richard's case, that have something to do with Richard's case, from Leilani Hart to Dallas Hart to James Courtney Hart to Danae Katzen to Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia to so many connected to Michael Garrett, the General Michael Garrett, and even more. There is, this crossover. Jules Tuganon Chan, he's absolutely in Richard's case. He's absolutely part of the Walmart case. Nick Brownbell Nofziger, right? Part of Richard's case, part of the Walmart case. Amber Chase, you can go on, and including Ernest Christopher Grant. Because do not forget that when we came in and we had the FBI man come forward and say, yeah, the FBI found Richard's remains in Mexico, and that's a secret. Shh, that's a secret. The FBI automatically took over the case, took it on, right? And then we received the phone call to have this task force find Richard Halliday. And of course, we know that it was a dog and pony show. We know that there was no op ward. We know that they were out of uniform. We know that there were no do-outs. There's no operational order from Bradford Bugado's office of the G3, right? So, why did they carry this out? And why did they spend the money that they did? Because it was over 15 agencies involved, from ATF to Department of Homeland Security to the FBI to the Department of State to the Mexican military, the Mexican government AG's office, to CBP, to the sheriffs, to the marshal. 15 plus agencies that were there at the meeting. Some of the biggest drug dealers ever caught never had so many agencies part of the task force like Richard did. And so, and the admission that the search for him didn't even begin until September 1st. And Jay Pollan, well, we don't even really look for the soldiers that, are missing. Um, so and Jerry Jakovitz, right, the command sergeant major, I didn't even know that there was a missing soldier on the rolls. You know, he was cussed out for that one. He was cussed out for that one. Um, that was pretty bad. So, and rightfully so. And rightfully so. Do not tell me and I haven't mentioned Albert Fletcher. Um, but Albert Fletcher's name, he was the sergeant major of 143, and his name is coming up again. Um, of course, with this whole thing with Ruggiero and with this picture that was taken off of jail the jail district's office computer. That someone walked in there, someone that wanted to know about Richard walked in there and, had the district, because it was in the jail. Um, I guess it's the jail magistrate clerk's office. Hey, bring up this picture of Richard, and just snapshot it with their camera, with their phone, off of the screen, which is a felony. And the problem is it gets even worse because more and more felonies are added because they didn't enlarge the picture. So when they allowed the snapshot of the screen, which was a felony, there was emails in the background and information in the background behind the picture that was also taken, and then that was posted. So there's like 4 felonies there. So anyone that took that picture, you know, is looking at about 4 felony counts. And so being able to speak to law enforcement about getting to the bottom of that is really amazing. It's really an education. And how the whole system seemed to have a few people that want control of badges, that want control of law enforcement positions in order to weaponize it, right? We need a lot of vetting before we give anybody a badge and put them in position. Because, of course, we have a witness, CID agent Tavita Nusa, having a lot of mental distress because of hurting somebody. And, we also received information today about Tavita Nusa and more information about why he lost his badge. We know for sure, and we have it confirmed that he lost his badge, and we've been saying that he lost his badge. It wasn't reported in the news. It should have been reported in the news because he's absolutely connected to Leilani Hart and connected to Richard's case, right? Connected to Dallas Hart. And, here he is, a Fort Bliss CID agent that loses his badge and is connected to Richard's case. So it's a very big deal. And we got word today about that also, that part of the reason why he lost his badge is because of his mental, he's just was very mentally unstable. And we're wondering if that's because of what he did to Richard. Was he ordered to murder Richard? Was he ordered to just get rid of the body? Um, did he was he ordered to dismember our son, and dispose of his parts? Did he use acid? Did he use the incinerator? I mean, can you imagine what we have to go through as a family in investigating our own son's case? It is just hell. It's absolutely torture and hell. And I want to tell you, um, I'm getting these images of, I believe it's like the light of Richard, and like prodding to move forward, like in a happy dancing way. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe someone out there can evaluate that, but it's like this happy dancing sense, and not victory, like, you know, prodding forward, like keep going, keep going. Um, and so we feel like we have made these huge gains in the last month. Of course, since April 24th, 2024. It took a while after we received the declaration of death to understand what had just happened, because we truly weren't expecting that to happen. Um, Even though when we look back now, we think, oh yeah, legally that was the only thing that could happen because of all of the evidence that we presented. We didn't give them all our evidence, but we gave them enough that they know that Richard was murdered on Fort Bliss. And, you know, to review that information, um, we're just in this mode, like, go, investigate, 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 put it together, file it, file it, file it, submit it, investigate, um, organize it, turn it into letters, submit it, submit it, submit it, file it. That's the mode that we're in. So when all of a sudden something happens, it takes a little bit to, oh my gosh, what just happened? Um, and to process that. And since then, um, you know, what has happened in the change of, to bring the truth forward, because that's what that did. It made the truth known to the public that Richard was murdered on Fort Bliss, and he was murdered in July of 2020. And there was a huge weaponization, because anybody that has been paying attention to this case knows when they don't call you, when they kick you out and say, we're not helping you, you're done, you're on your own, when they uh, obstruct justice, when they, like our first CAO, Josh Lyons, and his connections with Haley Separatio, who we thought was just um, a stock photo. But sorry, it doesn't. You have to go back, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's not the case here. Um, and being caught harassing, obstructing, intimidating, interfering with our son's case when he was the casualty affairs officer for our family. Uh, you know, isn't that criminal? And, of course, all of the other, and I'm thinking about the date that he came on, if it was after the FBI man, because everything changed on that day too. And so now we're looking at Leilani Hart in respect to these four major players, and that is John Briggs, Bob Moore, Bill Hicks, and Justin Underwood. And there's more, of course this case gets so convoluted, and that's why, I'm coming on every day to try to explain this case to everybody. And what you need to know is that Richard was reporting on criminal trafficking and fraud, and the Walmart case happened, we believe, to divert attention to the from the audits that were going on, to divert manpower from the audits and the investigation that was going on. And it was absolutely orchestrated. There's no doubt in my mind that the August 3rd, 2019 Walmart mass shooting was orchestrated. Okay. Did people die? Yes. Who died? Tell us who died. Let's have the whole thing in the courtroom. Let's tell the whole story. And we know that Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia got involved and couldn't stand John Briggs, right? Because she wanted the case to move very quickly to cash in, right? Um, but in the main case against Walmart, uh, which is a little complicated. I don't want to uh, complicate it more than what it needs to be said tonight, which is the DA's office is absolutely in crisis mode. They are in chaos, and that includes John Briggs. It includes Bob Moore. It includes Justin Underwood, because they colluded. They schemed. They violated the law. They violated the law in very serious ways. And we have, the whole DA's office was absolutely controlled and weaponized against the community of El Paso, to stop any kind of prosecution of the Walmart case. You see that in the latest cases, this young man that got shot in the back 4 times. What the killer is going to get 2.5 years. The other is this FBI man that was killed by the school district. That is a real crazy thing going on right now. And then this incest case that in El Paso that, he murdered his sister because she went and had another boyfriend. Um, you know, and he gets, so this is a case of murder and incest. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. But he, uh, you know, doesn't get prosecuted. There's a plea deal again for that. So the DA's office, it's either other people's cases or a plea deal, or it seems like Bill Hicks is very, very soft on crime because he can't do anything with a capital murder case or a murder case, or um, because, you know, everything he could be charged. Um, when it all comes out that he's a usurper, you know, fully in the courts, when he gets arrested, there's so many ramifications that he can't even go near a capital murder case and uh, prosecute properly. And that's why they're so in chaos. And I hope that makes sense. I don't claim to fully understand it myself. I know one thing: Bill Hicks is a criminal, he's a usurper, he interferes with elections, he interferes with the lives of people, that work. Think about how hard Yvonne Rosales worked in order to uh, even be able to run for a district attorney's office, but to actually win, how hard she worked for that position. And instead of being of help to her, instead of making that office uh, absolutely a piece of gold for the people of El Paso so that they could have, a peaceful life and trust in their court system. No, they betrayed the people of El Paso, and now they have to deal with uh, incestual murder or people being shot in the back 4 times and um, all these other crimes, right? So it really is a violation of your oath. I think we did get a confirmation that there is a state bar complaint lodged against Bill Hicks and that more are coming. Um, so things are being shaken up legally in the law enforcement. Things are being shaken up. And if you're in law enforcement, we want to thank you so much. And, just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. Because the people of El Paso, El Paso's so beautiful, right? It's such a beautiful city. And we need to make it a better place. That's the Girl Scout motto, right? Leave a place better than you found it. Make it better. Somehow make it better. Be of service. Do some good. All the things that I've been told all my life. Don't be a hemmschuh. That's a German word. Don't be a problem for people. Be a blessing. And then they'll invite you back. Then you'll make some extra great friends, lifelong friends. Um, Leave a place better than you found it, and in all you do, glorify God. That's the bottom line. And so that is the complete opposite of what Justin Underwood has been doing. Even though his commercials for his law firm is, all this pulling the heartstrings of America, right? With, I guess it's his children or whatever. But he's up to no good. And he's in crisis mode, waiting. And of course, the others as well. And what John Briggs was doing since the 22nd of August, trying to scheme even more, and defrauding the taxpayers. So they just want to make money, they want to get paid, and then they don't want to bring these cases forward. So they just want to leverage the cases. Yeah, it really is diabolical. So yeah, did I talk about the district, the jail magistrate clerks, the picture of Richard? Yes, that's very, very important because those are felony charges. And we are absolutely looking for these people involved in Richard's case, in the cover up, in the murder, to be held accountable. So that is absolutely damaging to those that were weaponizing the system against us. I think that was a big, big mistake on their part. But it helps us identify those that are up to no good. The death penalty has no statute of limitations, and the the lawyer in the Walmart case has thrown Bill Hicks under the bus. Bill Hicks is in a lot of problem. I mean, he has hits coming from every corner. And it's not us. I mean, all we're saying is that he's a usurper of the 34th Judicial District Attorney's Office. He's a usurper and he interfered with an election. Absolutely interfered in the worst way in an election. So that is, if you have any questions, uh, these people just taint the whole criminal system. They just taint it, they bring it into crisis, and it seems like, they'll let these criminals go free. And, you know, the, that's just asking for problems. Asking for problems. There's a reason why you don't let murderers go free. You know, there's a reason why. Okay, thank you so much. And we will be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye bye.